Hey guys, they say sex sells, so we're gonna try selling. You're gonna notice that I'm wearing a different form of underwear. These are actually jock straps, so I can't turn around. This is YouTube after all. And I don't really want to get like banned or censored. Um, I'm not afraid. I just don't wanna. I'm actually trying to make this into something real. I was gonna talk about sex, which, cool. But there's like two parts to this, and one part is like the story of there's this really cute guy, and oh my god, he's really cute. He's from Kurdistan, and he's still living in Kurdistan. And he was asking me, he's like, "Hey, I'm going to be having sex, and I'm supposed to be top for the first time, and I don't know what to do, or what advice would you give?" And I sat there like, advice? Have fun? And he's like, no, 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 seriously, advice. And I'm like, dude, this isn't a sport. This isn't a competition. This isn't a one size fits all either. You do what what feels good to you. You do what makes you happy. And if you, in the middle of it, you go, wow, this is not, no, then you say so. Or you come up with something different. It's not like it's, you just go to town and the ending is always the same ending, because it rarely is. And I'm just trying to pack all this into one little box of information. And I sat there and I'm like, do a lot of people go through this? I've noticed with the 1 week lovely relationships I've been having, sorry, that just fluttered in my head, that kissing is a lost art. It's a bad thing to lose, by the way. You guys need to learn how to do that. That's like very important. Just playfulness. Everybody's like, hey, let's get off. It's like, why? Why is that the important part? That's the end note of a symphony, not the only note. But a lot of guys are treating that like that's the thing that has to happen. And the rest of this is just like, this is just filling time. It's like, oh, I'm glad that what makes other people happy is just filling time for you. Not really. That doesn't make me happy. It's just interesting. It's interesting. It's like there's this lost art of lovemaking. Maybe that's what I call this, the lost art of lovemaking. Except I'm not showing you anything. We're getting too detailed because I don't really want to, I'm not graphic. I really struggle. Having been sexualized really young, it's like really, the words they make me uncomfortable. I don't know if that revolves around that or if it's just, being raised Puritan and Mennonite and Presbyterian families. Probably has quite a bit to do with it too. We didn't talk about sex ever as people in my family at all. None of us knew anything about it. I had 2 sisters that got pregnant in high school, and they both claimed they knew nothing. And it was like, I knew enough because we had dairy cattle and my parents would breed them. So I'd have to stand there and hold the tail and push the cow to make sure that everything did its job with the little very long syringe that they like. Yeah, I know too much. For a gay guy, I know a lot about anatomy that I shouldn't. But so the whole gist of this is I like start getting in the weeds and then starting to like pull back because there's like a lot of weirdness to this for me. We're supposed to have fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable. It's supposed to be something that 2 people do together to bond. It's a bonding moment. Your brain is giving off endorphins. Love is a chemical in your head. And the quicker you realize that, the easier it is to understand what you're doing. Because that chemical in your head, the same receptors accept cocaine. Did you know that? So basically, what happens when you fall in love is your body just shoots your brain full of a whole bunch of stuff that's like cocaine. Close enough that it fools your brain. Or close enough that when your brain sees cocaine, it thinks it's that. That's what love is. Now, is that a bad thing? Hell no. It's one of the few drugs that you're allowed to do that doesn't get taxed currently, number one. And number two, the Republicans haven't found a way to make a law banning it. I'm not happy with you people. Keep your hands off my body, that kind of thing. So it's just interesting how the brain works. And when you stand outside of that, like I do my little like INFJ, let's analyze this to death. So it makes a lot of sense to me, and I can like then shut it off when I need to. Is how do you the bonding portion of this, wonderful. That's what it's for. But then to watch people when they realize that's what's going on. And I don't think they actually actively realize that's what's going on. But like, you see these couples and they date for a little bit and they have sex and then they kind of just fall apart and they're like, what happened? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, I do. I have a concept. I have a really good concept. You got too vulnerable. You realized that you were actually into what was going on, and more would have been better. And that concept that more would have been better is scary. And it's scary for people like me who actually have like the ability to bond. And it must be terrifying for people that struggle with it. So I completely understand you guys. It's all good. But you, for your own sake, and for the sake of anybody trying to date you, need to figure that one out. I don't know how. I don't have that experience. I can watch people with that experience and go, you just got triggered. I'm never going to hear from you again. Okay, we're cool. I can manage that on my end. Usually with alcohol and a really hard night's sleep. Alcohol is a bad crutch. It hasn't hurt me yet. So, and it's something I probably will want to get over because it is the struggle that keeps this little boy right here like this. But I digress. Sex. Obviously, what we're talking about is all about sex. And then it morphs into how the relationship is transmuted by sex. It becomes deeper and stronger and healthier. And you become more, not dependent. Your brain, when you're looking at that person, every time you see them, your body's giving off that chemical that reacts just like cocaine. Every time you see them, every time you hear them. That's why when somebody calls and you go, oh, yes, that is it, right there. That was it. Your brain went. So you have to find ways, if you break up with somebody, to get that pattern broken as fast as possible. But that has nothing to do with this topic. Probably do a whole thing on breaking up and how to get over people. I've done it way too often. But you guys enjoy yourself. Have sex. Have sex as often as you can. Unfortunately for me, it depends on how tired this boy is. I don't put myself out there for people. You all keep asking me for dick pics. I'm at 300 and, what did I say, 309 followers or something like that. I threatened to post something, and now I don't have to. Yay! Because I threatened to post it at 10,000. We're never going to get there. I'm good with that as a concept. I don't need that. This is my therapy. Talking about this stuff makes me happy. Letting you guys in to see what the processing of my brain looks like, that makes me happy. Talking about sex makes me uncomfortable, which is why I wanted to do it. Because things that make you uncomfortable are things you need to tackle. They make me uncomfortable because it just, I don't know. There's a lot of baggage attached to it in my world. and hopefully not in yours. But if it is, feel free to contact me. You got my Twitter, you got my, Instagram, brain freeze. Just drop me a line. I can talk. I'm a good talker. I'm a good listener. I can walk you through how I dealt with things. I had somebody that I was really interested in that confessed that he had been raped. And on an epic scale, when I think about that, when I was talking to him, the only thing that came to my mind was empathy for him. Empathy, not sympathy. No, there was no reason to be sympathetic to him. Empathetic with him. And knowing that it doesn't, I don't know how to put that. I don't want to say it wrong. There's a way to say it right, and there's a way to say it wrong, and I'm going to say it wrong. In my world, it doesn't matter that something bad happened to you, right? I think of you as the same person. You have the exact same everything that you always had. Nothing changed. I now understand some things, and now I know that I need to be a little bit more careful and cautious in how I approach you, as far as not triggering you. But beyond that, I have nothing different. I have nothing different to say. My hope is that you're good, you worked on it, and if you have triggers, that you give them to me so I understand, so I'm not doing that. It's easy. It's kind of like you want to have a safe word. And we were talking about that at dinner today. And they said, yeah, we don't have a safe word. And I said, you should always have a safe word. There should be a word that you use with your partner that says, whatever you're doing right now is setting me off, and I really need you to stop. That word. That's a concept. We should actually work on that, because I think that would be great. Because some of the shit I do and say out loud, and it used to upset my ex-husband. Afterwards, he'd tell me, I'm like, why didn't you tell me in the moment? He says, I had no way to. And I'm like, oh, safe word. Albatross. Hey, AJ, albatross. Ooh, what was I just talking about? Ooh, okay, we're going to go to a new topic. That's easy. That would be that easy. And if you care about your partner and they say this bizarro safe word, that should be your first response, is like back off and say, I don't know what I just did. Let's analyze this later, but let's change the topic. Let's just change the topic. Easy peasy. Great for relationships. Awful to teach people because people don't like to learn. I love you guys. This was a horrible rant, and I apologize. I was hoping it was going to be fun, and somehow I think I just beat it into the ground in a bad way. I love you guys. Love you, dude.